everyone! So today we are going to be doing something new. Firstly, I'm doing a tier list, and secondly, I'm using a Vtuber model. I've actually had this for a while, I just haven't had a reason to use it. And I figured this is the perfect way to introduce it. Gee, I wonder who's gonna end up on the top as my favorite Love Live character. So I'm gonna be ranking every single character who is either a main character or a rival that was introduced up to Superstar Season 2. So Tamari isn't gonna be here because I don't know anything about her yet. Tomari? I don't know. I don't even know how it's pronounced. I'm not gonna be doing any of the Link-like girls because, again, I haven't watched any of their stories and the app isn't in the US, so yeah. And also, just for simplicity's sake, it's just main characters and rivals, and no side characters or end girls or anything, because we'd be here all day. I'm just gonna be doing this in order. So, Honoka. It's an A tier for her. I genuinely really like Honoka. I think she's a very endearing protagonist. She gets a good arc throughout the series. They do a good job showing her still being herself but maturing by the end, which I like a lot. She sent the template for basically every Love Live protagonist after this. Chika, especially, Yu, IMU, Kanon, they all take some elements from Chika. They all take some elements from Honoka. I even think, from what little I've seen, the main girl from the new group, the Link-like girls, I genuinely cannot remember that school's name for the life of me. Because I know they're like Nijigasaki, where the main group is just like the school name, but I can't remember that. Umi, S tier, big surprise. I can't believe the character who my model is based on, who my profile picture is, who I've mentioned in a lot of videos, even not about her. I haven't actually done a video on her. I just think she's a very likable character. Right from the start, her and Honoka's dynamic drew me into the show from when I watched the first episode. I love that sort of like super outgoing, quirky protagonist, and her shyer, more serious best friend who secretly actually really looks up to her. For me, I think that genuinely what draws me to her a lot, besides just like appearance-wise, yeah, she's a long blue-haired girl with brown eyes. That's goals. But more than anything is that her arc in the show is basically coming to accept her own feelings. I've talked about this a bit in my Ren video, but at the start she's like terrified at the idea of being an idol, but ultimately her major mark of development is in My Wish, where no, not My Wish, after that, Snow Elation Part 2. Melody of the Heart. I'm tired, I forgot. I'm doing this at like 1 AM, that's probably not the best idea, but whatever. Or in that episode, she like fully admits that she enjoys it for herself, and that's a big mark of character development for her. I like Umi a lot. She's one of my favorite. She is my favorite character in the franchise. Last the second year is Kotori. I'm gonna go C. Here's the thing, I like Kotori, but I feel like she suffers from the fact that she does the most in season 1, where the writing isn't quite as refined as it is in season 2. I think her arc is really interesting. The whole wanting to do stuff on her own and needing to accept her friend's support, and also to accept when she's not ready for something, like leaving. But I think they could have done it a bit better. She's my least favorite Muse member, it's spoiler, but I don't think she's bad. I like her. Honestly, there isn't anyone on this list I think is a bad character, but we'll get more into that when we get into that. Maki, she is my second favorite character besides Umi. She's interesting because I've never disliked Maki, but on my first watch, she wasn't my favorite. Like I liked her, but I didn't really think much about her. But the more I watch the show, the more I just liked her. I think she's an interesting character. I like her whole, even if it's not explored much, I like the whole dilemma where she has to deal with the expectation of the fact that she's supposed to grow up to be a doctor against her passion for music. I like how over the course of the show she gets more outgoing and open. It probably helps. I'm not ranking anyone here based on fanfiction, but I think part of what helped me develop more appreciation for Maki as a character is the fact that she is a very popular character in fanfiction, probably because she's a good driver for conflict. It's an interesting character to write about. She's definitely one of the ones I write about the most, honestly, which I think helped. But all that definitely made me appreciate her traits in the show more. And yeah, she's my second favorite. Hanyo, solid B tier. I genuinely don't get how anyone can hate Hanyo. Like she's one of those characters where she's not my favorite. She wouldn't be one of the first I think of if you ask me like, oh, what are your best Love Live characters? But she's genuinely fun. I like the more spirited moments she has where she's like fangirling about idols and stuff. The rice jokes are fun. I love the kind of arc she develops where she ends up being Nico's successor as the Idol Club president. Yeah, she's just I like her a lot. Rin, solid A tier. I have a whole video about Rin. There might be an updated version of that out, depending on when I get this out as well. She is a very fun character who stars in one of the best episodes in the franchise with a new me. Very relatable as well. Nico, does she go above Rin? Yeah, I'm gonna put her here. I think just below Honoka, but above Rin. She's another character where I feel like I really started appreciating her more on rewatches, but I definitely still liked her initially. I feel like she's a very easy character to underestimate because, like, obviously what sticks in people's mind is just like, oh, the Nico ni, the tsundere moments and stuff. She actually does get a lot of development in the show. I can't remember the name, but her season 2 episode is really, really good. And in No Senpai Allowed, they set up a lot of aspects of her home life and stuff too, which I like. And her backstory is interesting, and I just think she's a genuinely really fun and well-rounded character. Another one of my favorites. Like I said, I don't dislike anyone, and I really like all the Muse girls. Ellie, does she go below or above Hanyo? I'm gonna put her below for now, just because I really like Ellie when she's in the club and she's acting as like club mom and everything. It's cute, She's a fun character. I love how her and Honeka's dynamic develops, where like they go from like dramatically opposed to each other to she comes to really respect Honoka, and Honoka looks up to her as well. Their hug in Melody of the Heart is one of many great scenes in that episode, and I love in the last episode where she says she's really grown to look up or respect Honoka. It's sweet. And I also think she's fun as an antagonist, the like stuck-up student council president that's opposed to the club. There's a reason they've done it like 3 times, I think. Maybe like 5. I don't know. I haven't played All Stars. But yeah, I really like her as both of those. I just think the transition between the two is rough, because she goes like her focus episodes don't really do a good job explaining what she's about and everything, so it just kind of makes her feel petty while not calling out that she's petty. Nozomi, I'm going to put her the bottom of A because I really like Nozomi as a character. My Wish is an amazing episode. I really like her story, her personality, basically everything about her except the washi-washi. I genuinely feel fear most of the time when she's on screen in season 1, because I am genuinely expecting her to sexually assault someone in every scene. If it weren't for that, honestly, she might be up here, like just below Umi and Maki, but for that, it's a pretty tough pill to swallow, and it only works because she is so good. Otherwise, like I want to go, like washi-washi makes me want to go down here, but she is such a good character otherwise. I can restrain. Okay, so now Rivals, there is going to be a trend. There will be a trend. So you see, Arise fucking ruined one of my videos because they're so forgettable. At one point, I was in the middle of making a video about wine and Love Live Rivals as a whole, and it was going really well. I was really proud of it. I had rewatched a bunch of episodes and stuff in preparation for the script. I was in the middle of video editing, and then I realized one thing I talked about a lot was the parallels between Butterfly Wing and Go Restart, both song-wise and performance-wise, and how I think that really plays a role in establishing Wine as a great rival, and that we don't usually see a group's direct response to the rival song, which in Sunshine made sense. I forgot they get a full performance in season 2 episode 3, Private Wars, I think, Shocking Party. Yeah, I just forgot, and fuck, I had to delete the whole video. I had to scrap that whole video, and it sucked. I already didn't like them. Tsubasa is the most character out of them, and even then, she's just a generic fucking rival. Like she only really talks to Honoka outside of that one really gay scene with Maki.
Oh yeah? Alright. Try this note right here.
Which I don't know what that one was supposed to be implying, but there's implications there. And, like, some of their stuff is interesting. Like, some of their talks about, like, oh, what makes a successful idol, and how Tsubasa comes to respect Honoka, but that's it. She's really bland. And the other two, they're not characters, they're accessories to Tsubasa. I don't dislike, when I say I don't hate anyone here, I mean that. Because the lowest are the characters that aren't characters. I don't hate them because there's nothing to them. On to Aqua. Chika. Chika is an interesting character and very hard for me to rank because she is great in Season 1. Like, I forget sometimes how well done her arc is. With the whole, like, normal monster thing, worrying that she's, like, too unremarkable to ever both be a successful idol or achieve anything, really. And I think it's really well done. I think she matures a lot into the role of the group leader. She basically takes charge during the third year's conflict, which is really cool to me. I like her dynamics with Yo and Rico. She is a very good protagonist in Season 1. In Season 2, she feels like the footnotes version of what Honoka is. Oh, she's super enthusiastic about the school and idols. She feels less like a character and more like a plot device. Which is kind of going to be a big running trend with a lot of these Sunshine characters. Season 2 really hurts a lot of them, in my eyes. But I'm gonna try not to be too harsh with that. So I'm gonna put Chika in A. Below any of the Muse members up here, but no, I'll be generous. I'll put her over Nozomi. Season 2, man, Jesus Christ. Like, they literally devote so much to just having her, like, yell about, oranges and shit. When, like, that comes up once, or maybe twice in Season 1, and one of the instances, at least, is a joke about the fact it's the only thing she could think of remarkable to talk about. I really don't like Sunshine Season 2. Anyway, yo, B tier. She's fine. Again, really fun in Season 1, doesn't do shit in Season 2. Rico, one of my favorite Sunshine characters. Again, she suffers from the fact she does nothing in Season 2 outside of her episode with Yoshiko. But she's just a fun character. I think she plays off of Chika really well. I like her role as sort of the Umi of the show. I like the angle of her being the outsider to the group, of like the one who grew up in the city and all that. And I think the fact that she went initially to Otsunokizaka and hated it, kind of. Like, she would be alone in the music room like Maki was. But, like, it wasn't a good thing for her, and she kind of needed to get away from that environment, I think is a really good callback to the original series. Like, Sunshine's a bit hit or miss with, in Season 1, with how it relates back to the original series, but I think they do it really well with Rico. I like her a lot. Ruby, one of my favorites. Adorable. She gets some good development with the Awaken the Power two-parter. I really like her. Hanamaru. I want to like you more. The fact that her introduction is her joining the group with Ruby because she wants to not fall into the background and to be more like an active, noticeable person. And then she is immediately demoted to jokes about food and jokes about her saying Zora and sometimes being the straight man to Yoshiko. Like, that is it. You could remove her from the show and nothing would change. Like, you would briefly need to rewrite the episode 4 to be just about Ruby, but it wouldn't even be that hard to. I like her as a character. She is so nothing in the show. It is sad. It is genuinely really sad. Yoshiko, yeah, she is third place in terms of my favorite characters. She is very fun. Both of her actresses do a really good job. She is very unique. There is a reason that there is a spin-off coming out starring her. I genuinely think she is one of the most important characters in this franchise. Kanan, first D tier. I like her role in the feud between the third years. I think the fact that she doesn't appear a lot in the first half of season 1 isn't a bad thing. It does a good job of kind of setting up how torn the trio is. And I like the stuff with Mari trying to fix their bond and the scene where they reconcile and everything. She does nothing after, and she really needed something. I cannot tell you anything about her personality, and I've watched Sunshine like 3 times in full. Mari, yeah, I think that's a good place for her. She is very fun. Her introduction is almost killing Chica, Rico, and Yo with her helicopter. Fucking incredible character. She is very fun. And again, a lot of emotional depth to her too, with her like desperately trying to patch up her friends' conflict. Daya, yeah, I'm gonna put her here. I really like Daya. I've grown to like her a lot more over time. She's very... I like her role as the kind of conflict to Chica. Because she is a bit petty, again. It's like, well, being an idol sucked for me, so you don't get to do it. But, like, I don't know, she's so over the top, it's entertaining. And once she joins, she remains a fun character. She is one of the few characters I think isn't hurt. Well, no, she is kind of hurt by season 2's writing, because, oh my god, the Bubba Tetsuwa, I don't know how to pronounce it. In the dub, she just does, like, boop, 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 and it's fucking obnoxious. They have her do it, like, twice an episode, oh my god. But, like, I really like her episode in season 2. I like all of her roles in season 1. I just think she's a very fun character. Sarah, I don't know, she's tied with Tsubasa. I like that her and Chica become friends. That is all I have to say on her. Another nothing rival. Saint Snow is the best rival group. By far. She is not an interesting character. Leia. She is an exception to the rule of rivals characters being incredibly unremarkable. It's entirely because of the Awaken the Power two-parter and how they use her as a foil to Ruby and a chance for, through their friendship, to show how Ruby's grown. Because she's essentially Ruby, but rather than her socially awkwardness and fear of social interactions manifesting through, well, screaming in Ruby's case and hiding, she just acts very cold to people and drives them away that way. And she's a good foil to Ruby. The Awaken the Power two-parter is genuinely the best part of Sunshine Season 2. Like, there's a couple episodes in that season I like, despite not liking the season overall. But that two-parter is one of my favorite things in the franchise. And she's a big part of that. I genuinely think she is almost unmatched in terms of rival characters in Love Live. Yu is very unique in terms of Love Live characters, because she's not an idol. She is the personification of the player insert character from All Stars. But I like her a lot. She doesn't just feel like a generic self-insert. She's a well-developed character in her own right. I've already talked a lot about why I like her in my You and I Am You video, but she's just really endearing. Her idol fangirling is really cute. Her dynamic with characters like Aimu and Setsuna are really fun. I like her arc of kind of, through supporting the others, finding her own passions in terms of music and everything. I like the little dynamic they set up with her and Mia, even if it kind of gets dropped. She's just a very fun character. She's a very unique protagonist in terms of Love Live. She has a lot of the traits that originate with, like, Honoka and Chika and stuff, but she genuinely has her own spin. I like her a lot. Wait, why is Shoriko next? Okay, so I haven't played All Stars. Remember that. Shoriko is really popular. It honestly kind of surprises me, because they did her so bad in the anime. She is a nothing character. Like, they give her Ruby's backstory? Like, oh, her sister got upset, or she thinks she got upset being an idol, so she doesn't want to be an idol, or something. I could not tell you a single personality trait she has. She is used so poorly in the anime. I want to try and catch up on All Stars before it closes, partially because I want to see what her actual character is. She is so badly used. Mia, similarly, New Yorker Mia Taylor. I wanna like you more. Her songs are fun. She says shit in All Stars, I know that. I like her dynamics with Rina. I like her dynamic with you. She just, again, I like her backstory as well. I just don't think they use her well. It's a shame. And rounding out that Lanzu, I wanna like her more too. I think the thing with Lanzu is they were afraid to commit to her in the being an antagonist in the anime, Probably because, again, I haven't played it, but I know the fucking All-Star story with her almost... No, actually, it did tank that game. It contributed to that game's eventual death, honestly. Not saying it was good or bad, but just that happened. And so obviously they were pretty clearly afraid of getting that reaction to the anime version of her. So in the first episode of Season 2, they try really hard to make her an interesting antagonist. And they fucking succeed at it! Her showing up, like, being like, oh, you're all so great! And then immediately taking stage with an amazing song when they fuck up. And being like, yeah, no, lol, I don't need any of you people, is really good. And they set up her kind of... I think this is what they eventually did with her in the game, is that it's like, oh, well, she's so perfect. She pushes people away. And in the anime, they kind of set that up as just like her... through the song, Utopia, is like, oh, her ego pushes people away. It's interesting. I really wanted to see more. And then she doesn't do anything after that. Like, she shows up to be like, oh, I don't need friends. And like, yo, you, why are you here? You're fucking shit. And then that's it. That's her role in the show. She anticlimactically performs Queendom. Like, they don't even have that stupid fucking boat hit her in the head, which I thought was what they were setting up, but I watched the episode, which at least would have made happens next more understandable, because she would have fucking got embarrassed in front of everyone. But it's just like, she's just like, no, you did better than me, I'm going back to China now. And he is like, no, that's stupid. And then she joins the group. Also, there's stuff with Shoriko. I don't remember any of it in the anime. I really need to play All-Stars. IMU. Yeah, I like IMU a lot. I think doing my video on her and you made me respect her a lot more. She's kind of a character that gets reduced in the fandom a lot. Like, the yandere jokes are funny, but her whole arc is growing out of that. Because IMU is kind of a shitty person initially. Like, not intentionally, but like, she's very, like, possessive and everything. I mean, she outright tells you that she's not allowed to have her own dreams because she needs to support her forever and always. But those are also, like, flaws, and they're presented as such, and her arc is growing past them. Yeah, and it's one of those cases where I don't think a character having flaws that they grow past is a bad thing. Like, that's storytelling. That's life. I guess she's pretty good. I like her. Kasumi. Other B tier. I like her. She's fun. She works as the gremlin of the group. I like that a first year is the club president. I love her dynamic with Shizuku. Yeah, she's just a fun character. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say on a lot of the Niji characters. I'm just gonna say it right now. Setsuna. Below Nico, but above Mari. She is probably my favorite idol of Niji. I just think she's a very fun character. The whole, like, double life thing of being the mature student council president, but also cool badass idol behind the scenes is fun. The anime doesn't do as much with it as they could, but I think All Stars probably does that. Yeah, I like the whole thing where she's kind of worried she needs to focus on schoolwork and stuff, and her personalities of being like a massive like video game and anime fan is fun, and she gets some really fucking good songs. And also, her dynamic with you and Aimu is fun, and yeah, I just like her a lot. Kanata, fuck, where do you rank Kanata? I'm gonna put her at the bottom of B. She is a fun character. I like how the anime contextualizes her like sleeping all the time as the fact that she overworks herself a lot to like take care of her sister and stuff. Her episode was really good. She is a fun character outside of that. I like in season 2 her role kinda helping you and Aimu when Aimu gets invited to London? Somewhere in England. London, yeah. Emma. I like her dynamic with Karin. They're really cute together. I like how she's used in the first Quartz episode, and they kind of set up like a contrast between her and Lanzu. They don't do anything with it, but they bring it up, I guess. Yeah, I just don't have much to say with her. She doesn't get as much focus as she kind of deserves. Her episode is more a Karin episode than actually about her. It sucks. I like her. Again, I don't dislike any of the characters here. But she's just... I wish there was more. I need to play All Stars before it closes, but... Yeah, just from the anime, there is not much to her. At least that grabbed me. Shizuku, my second favorite Niji character. I'll put her here. Her and Setsuna kind of swap for the place. I love Shizuku. In season 1, her episode is by far my favorite, and I think the only Niji episode that even comes close to it, maybe beating it, is the season 2 opener. I love how they use her being like a theater kid. The whole framing device in that episode of her like monologuing with herself and then ultimately fusing as this thing of her showing her gaining confidence and learning to embrace every aspect and quirk of herself is really good. Like I said, I like her dynamic with Kasumi. Them and Rina make a fun trio in some episodes. I love in season 2. They just have her. She just has the others. I don't know how else to word it, but do her like. She recruits Setsuna and Aimu to be in her furry Beauty and Beast adaptation. And then in the opener, she directs the PV that they do, and as I like hold her by her tie while pinning her against a wall, it's like it is a very theater kid thing. I was not a theater kid, but everything I've seen makes me feel like it is an accurate representation. And she's a very fun character. Again, I feel like I say this with every Niji character, but I wish she got more screen time, but that's mainly just because Niji has so many characters, and it's character of the day focus or subunit of the day kind of means that if a character isn't the main character in an episode, they usually don't get much to do at all, which is kind of a problem in Love Live in general, but I don't know, Niji, it's more noticeable. I like these characters, I just want to see more of them. Rina, yeah, I'll go top of B tier. She is very endearing in the anime. I know in All Stars they made it where it's like no one ever sees her face and the board is just something she uses or something, which is weird. I like how in the anime they make it where it's her means of expressing herself because she has trouble doing that normally. I think that's very, very endearing, and I know for a lot of people it is a relatable struggle. I like she's punny. I like how she kind of is like cool upperclassman mom to the first years. Her and Karin are a cool pairing. I don't have much on the Diver Diva episode. I've only seen it once, but I like a lot of their songs. Genuinely, Love Triangle is probably one of my favorite Love Live songs. Like Emma, I think she suffers from the fact her focus episode in season 1 kind of fucking sucks. So I mainly remember her for like her dynamic with Rina, which is really good. I like that. But yeah, I don't know. She is a character I don't hate. She's been done really well in fandom stuff, but I don't know. She does nothing for me in context of the show itself. Karin, yeah, I'll put her there. I like Karin. She's not my favorite character, but I like her. I like the whole, I like her dynamic with Emma and, and all that. I like her stuff early on about trying to, get Setsuna to embrace being an idol. I also love her whole thing of being like the cool, mature girl who's also a fucking disaster who relies on Emma to function. It's fun. Alright, now my territory. It's probably obvious based on my channel which Love Live series are my favorite. And it's Superstar and School Idol Project. Kanon. I really love Kanon. See, the first episode of Superstar is basically her story. And it's really good. I think Kanon suffers from the fact that, like, now there's the whole... She kinda does a bit too much and gets a bit too much focus. But I think she's a really endearing protagonist, and if it weren't for the fact this is Love Live, where there's fucking 9 to, like, 13 main characters in a show, I don't think it would be a big deal that the main character does a lot in the show. Like, oh my god, and I don't know, fucking SpongeBob does a lot. Fucking Crime, I can't believe it. Fucking Hank Hill. What the fuck? I was trying to say Mr. White from Breaking Bad does a lot. Walter White is what I meant. For some reason, Hank Hill came to me as a name. Yeah, I like Kanon a lot. She is essentially the Umi Riko archetype made the main character, and I think that is very fun. Her, like, anxiousness and everything is really relatable. I like her self-confidence issues and her kind of struggle with her failures in the past. I like how that is what lets her relate to all the other girls and help them grow past their issues as well. And I like that they give her clear flaws. It's not a... I wish it was explored more, but, like, she needs Chisato to push her a lot of the time. Because she's very bad with pushing her or others outside of her comfort zone. She's very perceptive and good at picking up when people are hiding something or kind of have issues they need to work through. But if she's in a stressful group situation, like when Sumire is starting the fight in Season 2, Episode 9, saying the first year shouldn't perform, she just goes to fucking hit her. She's overwhelmed and not thinking clearly. When she's worried about the first years going away in Season 2, Episode 6, she literally needs Chisato to take her outside and be like, okay, what's wrong? And, like, I like that. She's a very endearing protagonist. She combines a lot of the traits of an Umi or Rika with traits. I don't think that's a word. The traits of a Honoka or a Chika, and it's endearing. I like it a lot. I think she is a very good protagonist. I wish the show was better at balancing the cast. I think that is why I think there being fucking 11 main characters right now is dumb. But I also think it did well with 5, and I know that's not a universal opinion, so... Yeah. Cuckoo. I still like Cuckoo. Season 2 really tried to fuck things up. It is weird editing videos and going from Season 1, where she has plenty of scenes with Chisato or Kanon, to Season 2, where she's barely relevant outside of the odd moments where she fangirls with Mei or she's shit-talking Sumire. It is a shame, because I really like her, especially in Season 1. She is basically, because Kanon is taking the role of the main character, she gets to be like a Honoka or a Chika ramped up to the extreme. She reminds me of Mako from Kill la Kill, where she's the character that would be the protagonist, probably, in any other show. But because she's not the protagonist, she gets it to be really over the top. And she's mean at points. Like, she is outright mean to Sumire in Season 1, and their arc is her needing to grow past that. And, like, it's good. She's really, really endearing and fun. I like the bits where she kind of overwhelms Kanon, or everything with her and Sumire until Season 2. But she just suffers from falling into the background in Season 2. And I think her arc in Season 2, I've talked about all of this already, her arc in Season 2 is really interesting, because I like the idea of her and Sumire are friends now. They get along, but they kind of have that, like, friendly rivalry sort of thing. But what really gets on Cuckoo's nerves is Sumire reminding her that, like, hey, should we be worried that you might have to go home? And Cuckoo getting pissed because she wants to just live the life of a Love Live protagonist. Literally. Like, she wants to be an idol with her friends without having to worry about what ifs in the future. And she gets mad at Sumire for reminding her of that, but in the end, she really appreciates how much she cares, and that's good! Like, that's a really, really good story, and it builds on Season 1 perfectly, but because all she does in the season is either shit-talking Sumire for gags, or the occasional moment where she fangirls or something, it just all gets overshadowed, and it sucks. Like, I want to put her in A, but yeah, she still goes on top of B, because I still really like Cuckoo. Anyway, after talking about her so long, Sumire A, or S, her and Kanon kind of compete for my 5th favorite character, honestly, and all of this is really close. She is great. I love how they have her mature between seasons. I absolutely love her and Kuku's dynamic. I love her arc in season 1 and her struggles with her, basically her putting on a front constantly to try and hide the fact that she wasn't successful as a performer and is really insecure about that. She is a really endearing character, and I love how they use her in both seasons. I feel bad, because a lot of the time Cuckoo is just mean to her for no reason in season 2, which I don't think was intended to come off the way it did, but it does. But genuinely one of the best Love Live characters, period, to me. I really like Sumire. Chisato. Yeah, I like Chisato. She suffers from the fact that she's kinda tied to Kanon. Like, honestly, I was kinda hoping they would commit to having Kanon leave, even if I knew they weren't going to, because I think the idea of Chisato having to run the club herself would be really fun. But I like her. I like how she and Kanon complement one another. Her arc in season 1 is learning that it's good to push herself, to do new things, and to try and be as best as she can, but she doesn't have to avoid letting others in to support her, which is what Kanon makes her realize in season 1, episode 6. It basically feels like a more realized version of what they were trying to do with Kotori back in School Idol Project. And it works really well, and I love how it ultimately comes back when in season 1, episode 11, she pushes Kanon to perform on her own, not necessarily because Kanon needs to, but because she wants Kanon to be able to move on from her past mistakes and trauma. And she realizes the only way to do that is pushing her out of her comfort zone. And Kanon ultimately thanks her for it, and she's really happy when she pulls it off. And I've talked about this before, but I love how they basically end up kind of adapting into the role of club moms in season 2, where Chisato is the one that'll challenge them and push them to go higher and do new things, and let them loosen the leash a little bit and let them go off on their own when it's necessary, while Kanon is the emotional support of the group. She's the heart, she's the one that'll talk to anyone who needs it, give it a pep talk, while Chisato is there to make sure everyone grows. And it's great. I hope we see more of it. Honestly, one of my biggest hopes for season 3 at this point is that we get an episode of her with her fucking weird subunit of Kineko, Natsume, and Tamari and Shiki. I want an episode where, like, the others are all busy and Chisato needs to put on a concert with the others. I think it could be really fun. Ren, I have done 3 videos. Or 2 videos on Ren. She's a fun character. She suffers from not having many connections with the other girls. I think season 2, episode 7 fixed that. I'm hoping they embrace that in season 3 more and give her more screen time. My god, I think there were episodes early on where she had like 2 lines, and they were the kind of lines that could be given to literally anyone. She's just a fun character. The fucking gamer Ren arc storyline, the episode it leads to, is so fucking fun. And honestly, One of my favorite things about doing the Red videos is just deciding on the thumbnails, because she has so many fun moments and like over-the-top expressions. Like I've talked about, she is Umi desperately trying to play the role of Ellie, and she's a lot like Kanon, where she has a lot of past shit she needs to work through. Whereas Kanon is relatively emotionally stable. Ren will collapse at a moment's notice, and it is great. I like Ren a lot. Wish she appeared more, but I like her a lot. Kineko. Yeah. I like Kineko, she's cute. But she doesn't get to do much. I really hope they use her more in Season 3. I feel like they're kind of setting her up as Kanon's successor. She's the secretary to her and Ren on the student council. She seems to be the one that they set up that can take the emotional role. There's the infamous her kind of getting overshadowed with recruiting Natsume. I've talked about that in the past. But she just stops mattering after their Season 2 Episode 6. It is sad. She is very cute though, and I find her a very endearing character. There, that feels a bit better. Pair do not separate. I like both of them as characters. Actually, yeah, that's how I want to do this. Mei, surprisingly, in Season 2, I feel like she gets more interactions with with other characters than, like, any other character besides, like, Kanon. Because, like, she interacts with all the other first years and has dynamics with them and plays roles in some of their plots. She and Ren form a dynamic as the composers. She and Cuckoo get to fangirl over idols together. And of course there's her and Shiki. It's weird, but she's a very well-rounded character, I think, and a very enjoyable one. Shiki is reduced to a gag. Like, just outright. Mostly sucks. Whereas Mei is her own character that does stuff with others, Shiki kind of feels like an extension of Mei as a character. She's important in Mei's character, but she's kind of just an extension of it. I wish she did more on her own, and I hope she does in Season 3. That bit where her and Natsume plot to murder Wine is probably my favorite thing she does this season. Season 2. Also, the bit where she... Renmei fuck. Like that is the context of their bit at the end of the Gamer episode. Yeah. Natsume, I'm gonna put her here. I actually really like Natsume. Again, she suffers that Shiki problem. That's not a difference, but it feels better to me. I like her, like, kind of get-rich-quick personality. I love the direction they go, because I and most other people thought the whole thing was like, oh, well, she's trying to get money because she's secretly poor or something. But the fact they go with that she feels like she doesn't have any skills or anything remarkable, and she decides to focus on trying to make as much money as possible because she thinks it's all she's good for. Fucking real as hell. And like I think it's a really good like character type to explore, and I'm excited to see what they do with her and Tamari once Tamari is added next season. the Squidward to her Mr. Krabs. But yeah, once she joins, she is a gag character and nothing more. There's the fucking rainbow takoyaki words bit, which is fun, but that's kind of it. She has the Kineko problem, but she establishes herself a bit better than Kineko before that problem sets in. Anyway, speaking of characters that don't get to do anything, Sunny Passion. Yeah, she goes above Arina and Anju. I think that's Anju, and I think that's Arina. Mao, I think is her name. Do they even fucking say it in the show? She is a nothing character. Yuna, she goes at the top of rival tier entirely because I like the bit where Kanon is doing the weird like yoga while like trying to think of song lyrics, but like actually being more concerned about Chisato. And like after Sumire and Kuku are both just confused by it, she just doesn't question it and just starts doing it with her and talking to her. She goes above all of these other characters because she has one quirky scene that I remember. This is the level most Love Live rivals are at. Speaking of that, wine. I like wine. I love wine. I am so excited to see what they do with her next season. She's like, she could easily go up after this, and I think she will. She suffers from the fact that she disappears for 5 episodes because the season has so much it has to fucking deal with after her debut. She doesn't show up again until like episode 7 or 8, and it's like, really? Way to fucking take the wind out of the sails for your rival. But like, I love how she's a foil to Kanon, because she is an incredibly successful middle school solo singer who's also extremely fucking arrogant and self-centered. She is essentially what Kanon could have been without her anxiety holding her back, but also without any of her heart. Because if Kanon was a successful singer and had gotten the music program and all of that, she probably never would have met Cuckoo or, like, gotten into being an idol or any of it. It's brief. They don't focus up on it as much as I wish they did. But she kind of taunts Kanon with the idea of she could go out on her own. Like, she mentions in episode 3 that Kanon singing is the only thing that impressed her at the Idol convention. Or concert... the Idol competition. And I love that her arrogance ultimately bites her in the ass when she fucking makes an ass of herself on stage after insulting the tournament too many times and then gets fucking Twitter canceled after. That is just part of the plot. I love it. But yeah, I am looking forward to the club having, and Kanon and Shisato especially, having to deal with wine. I think she is a great rival. I think she's the one rival that really acts as a foil to the main character, which it astounds me that it took, I'll be generous and not count Niji, it took 5 seasons for a Love Live show to include a rival that's a foil and challenge to the main character of the show. The most basic trait of a rival. Yeah, I just think she's really good. Her songs are great. Again, she's a really good Dark Mirror to con on. And thanks to her bios of after she was announced to join the group, we got that image where she's loading a pistol and is with a blank look on her face while she says God can't do all the work. 10 out of 10. That's my list. Again, I don't hate any of the characters here, even the rivals, they're just more indifferent. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know how wrong you think I am. And most importantly, just remember, your waifu's fucking trash.